This is AppenRoid Talks about wrestling, baby. So why don't you sit on back, open up your ears, and enjoy the ride. Yeah.
Schedule no matter what. Okay. All right. So should we get started?
Yeah, let's get started. We shall get started.
All right. Well, all right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll. Yeah. Are you recording already?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'm not used to you looking at me when we're doing this, by the way.
Well, you're getting used to it, sir.
Well, welcome back, everybody.
Yes, welcome back.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I am Rue. I am the host of this podcast. My body also processes carbohydrates as sugar, and you can't teach that. With me is Archie. He is blonde, and he is bound to the earth by gravity, and you can't teach that.
Oh, that's good to be back. You know, I swear that we start every podcast with, well, it's been a while.
It has, though.
Every single time. I know. We keep trying to say that we're going to do this, more consistently, and we really need to.
We do.
But yeah, we'll have to definitely get back in the groove here. So, but nice Enzo and Cass reference there.
Well, okay. Well, I have to be honest. I mean, I thought of this way back. Was it NXT Takeover London? Because I'm like watching their opening promo, and I'm like, this is not really actually anything really great because there's a lot of things that you just can't teach.
That is true. That is very true.
And one thing I took from Enzo's is that I'm a bona fide G and a certified thug. You have to actually get classes to get a certification. So you actually you can't teach it. So,
Now, does he say thug or does he say stud? What does he say? Does he say thug or stud?
You know what? It's a Jersey accent. I couldn't possibly tell you.
I like this whole time when you said thug, I was like, this whole time I thought he said stud. I don't know. Maybe. It could be either or.
I don't know.
I mean, it really could.
That is actually something about the Jersey thing, and not that I'm like biased against Jersey. It's just, they tend to be the butt of a lot of jokes. True. Have you noticed that NXT is fraught with people from Jersey?
Yes, I have noticed that actually.
A lot of people. Like, there's that new blonde girl who wears that jersey and everything like that, and I don't know. She's like really, like, she looks like Alexa Bliss, only a little taller, and she's also from Jersey. And it's like, what's with this Jersey people? And there's another diva on NXT who was also from Jersey. I'm just like, I don't know. Is that all they do in New Jersey?
It's Jersey or Australia.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is. I mean, because we've got Emma from Australia. There's two other girls that are from Australia too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a tall, brown-haired one, yeah, from Jersey.
Craven.
Oh, goodness.
All right, man, where do you want to start off tonight? Because, man, we've got quite a bit that we could cover.
Well, we have 5 weeks until WrestleMania, so let's get started with Fastlane. This was this past Sunday. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, predictable for one. It was very, very predictable card. I mean, there were some good matches on there, honestly. The matches themselves were not bad. I mean, we got... the ones that stood out to me were AJ Styles and Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Fantastic match that those two put on. I mean, they've put on 3 pretty great matches. Obviously, I thought their best one was at Fastlane.
I agree.
But they put on a fantastic match. I thought Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens put on a great match as well. And the main event, I thought for what it was a very entertaining main event. It was just very, very predictable main event. And you already knew who was going to come away the winner of it. The problem with Fastlane, and the problem with the product up until now, has been there's really been no storylines like that are building up to WrestleMania. Really, besides Triple H and Roman Reigns, because I mean you've already known that was going to be the main storyline heading into WrestleMania. Was going to be Roman Reigns is going to pretty much culminate his title, chasing that title at WrestleMania this year. You just knew it was going to happen. But that's really the only storyline. So it's like up until we won't talk about Monday Night Raw yet, but up until Monday, I was thinking, I'm going, man, what are they going to do? Because there really isn't, storyline. WrestleMania is usually where you have your storylines building to it, and that's kind of like the culmination of all the storylines, and then after WrestleMania, it starts all over again, with new storylines. But you really don't have those storylines this year, so it's really been kind of lackluster, and just kind of has worried me up until Monday Night Raw. But overall, as a pay-per-view, I thought Fastlane was okay. Match-wise, it was good, but storyline-wise, it's for that one storyline's predictable, but that really didn't do anything for me other than that.
Yeah, I kind of miss the old days where the storylines going into WrestleMania started at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And really just, like you said, the only storyline we had was Roman Reigns is going to try to get his title back and face Triple H, who screwed him out of the title. I mean, that story, thankfully, is like the longest running story they have going on right now since December.
Right.
But, yeah, really, they picked it up the next night at Raw. But, yeah, I was concerned, too, because I was thinking, well, the Jericho-AJ Styles thing really can't go until WrestleMania, especially with how much on TV they are.
Exactly.
And then the New Day didn't really have anything to do at Fastlane. They were basically a commercial for Edge and Christian's show.
Yeah, and let's talk about that segment for a minute, because that segment just felt so weird and so off. Like it wasn't. I mean, usually you get Edge and Christian in a ring, together, and it's comedy gold, and add on New Day to it. I mean, it should have been a hilarious moment, and it should have been something that was just funny and entertaining, and it was none of that. It just felt really awkward and almost kind of forced, and it was just like, what was the point of that segment? There really wasn't a point to it. And so
no point whatsoever. And it seemed like they turned the New Day face just for the night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they've got this Twitter beef and stuff going on with the League of Nations right now too. So it's like, are they tweeners? Are they heels? Are they face? I mean, what are they right now? It's kind of confusing because I mean, no matter what, they're probably the most over group, in WWE still. And so, I mean, the crowd is kind of forcing them to be face just because they cheer them all the time, and they get pops no matter where they go. But at the same time, I think you need to keep them as those tweeners. Just keep having them do that heelish stuff. Don't make them do like stuff that normal baby faces would do. Just keep them doing what they're doing, and just let the crowd either cheer them or boo them. Just that to me, that's what they need to do. But
Well, with the New Day especially, it's difficult because there really is no face team for them to be ultra heelish towards.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Ascension, which I guess they're heels, but who cares?
I mean,
and then
really, I feel bad saying that, but it's true. I mean, it's who cares about it? I mean, they're not getting cheers, they're not getting boos, they're in that, excuse my pun, they're in that cosmic wasteland.
They really are, though. It's a very appropriate pun.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not getting many reps on either SmackDown or Raw. They're on Superstars. They're in main event. They're really not being on the main shows.
Yeah.
Then you got the Lucha Dragons, who are basically part-time tag team at this point, because of Kalisto being the U.S. champion. And then a lot of people are kind of tired of the Usos already.
Yeah, I mean,
and
the Usos they're starting to get to that point where people are just like, we're tired of watching them. They've kind of got to that point. They need something fresh. They need something new. They need something other than that Uso gimmick, or that little catchphrase that they do all the time. They need something fresh. They need something different. Because honestly, I mean, all the tag teams that you have besides the Lucha Dragons and the Usos are heel. Like, those two teams are really the only face tag teams that you've got right now, because you've got the Dudleys turned heel.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
the Los Matadors haven't been seen in a
they
while.
haven't been seen in a while. You got the Wyatt family. Obviously, that's, they play heel even though people love them. But it's... You
also got Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, who haven't been around. I mean, Darren Young's been nursing an injury, and Titus Young just got suspended.
Yeah, he got suspended, but it's...
I have no idea who the social outcasts are supposed to be. Are they supposed to be face or supposed to be heel? I don't know. Sometimes they're one and the other the next week.
Sometimes they're facing other heels. Sometimes they're facing faces. I mean, it's true. It's like kind of... You've got these tweeners that... especially like with the social, because I mean, don't get me wrong, like the social outcasts, they're entertaining to me. I think that they're entertaining, and I think they're funny. And so you've got kind of tweeners with them and New Day. Then you got these. Then you got all the heel tag teams, and then you've got the Usos, which are supposed to be faces, but you can tell people are starting to grow tired of their act. And then you got the Lucha Dragons, which. You got these baby faces, and it's hard to put these face teams against the New Day, because everyone's going to cheer the New Day no matter who they're wrestling, no matter who they're against. So they're kind of at a catch-22 when you've got two face tag teams that are going up against the New Day, and your supposedly heel tag team is getting more cheers than the faces. So, I mean, it's hard to know what to do at this point, because the tag division has starting to gotten a lot stronger in the past year. You've got a lot more teams, just a lot more focus on tag team. If you noticed on Raw, like it was all tag team matches, except for the main event on Raw. It was like everything was either tag match or like a 6-man tag match or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
So like the only singles match was Roman Reigns against Sheamus.
Oh, no. There was...
was there another one?
Sasha and Naomi.
That's right, and Sasha and Naomi, that's right.
Yeah, Naomi.
It was Naomi, yeah.
I keep forgetting that. It's not Cameron.
But
yeah, I mean, now would be the time for them to start bringing up teams from NXT.
Yeah. Just
to fill it out. I mean, because the creative team has kind of pinned themselves on a corner. Mm-hmm. This would be a time to bring in Big Cass and Enzo.
And I thought that was something they would have done already. Honestly, I thought that either like Fastlane or Raw would have been a perfect opportunity to bring those two in. Add them to the mix of of the tag division and have them do something at WrestleMania, whether it's tag team on every corner, or whatever, It's I don't know. I thought
even the Vaudevillains actually would be a good time right now, because they're not really doing much on NXT.
They're not doing much right now in NXT, because NXT I think is just overflowing with talent right now in the tag division, and it's just it's hard, especially with the American Alpha and the I know, love that name, right?
Such a stupid. Just call them American males.
I know. With that awesome theme music.
I don't know which theme is worse, American Alpha or Apollo Crews. I still don't know which one's worse.
You don't like either of the. I mean, it's very similar. They're very similar. They're very similar theme music. So.
It's almost like I'm listening to either the All-Americans with the Patriot and Marcus Bagwell, or a little bit of Lex Luger in his last theme song in WWE.
Oh, yeah.
It's just...
Oh, lovely.
That's what I hear every single time.
Has Lex Luger ever had a good theme song? That's what I want to know.
When he was the narcissist, in my opinion.
Narcissist, yeah. Okay. I agree with you. I can see that. And that was a good gimmick for him, too. That was like the only good gimmick for Luger, was the narcissist. But so
anyway,
back on track.
Fastlane. I was kind of disappointed by the Kalisto Alberto Del Rio match, but I'm glad it was the last one. to be perfectly
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. That's the only one that I didn't get a chance to see because I was at a Springsteen concert that night, so I had to watch
seen
it
the boss.
Yep, I had to watch it the next day when I got home, and so
I heard it wasn't that good of a show, right? It wasn't that good of
shut
a
up,
show.
it was
Like
fantastic.
Springsteen's lost a couple steps, right?
No, the funny thing is, Springsteen is like he goes like 90 miles a minute, man. It's like it's funny. Like he goes from song to song to song to song, like without stopping. Like he played for 3.5 hours, and he's like 66 years old, and like played 3.5 hours. You don't see like bands that are like in their 20s play for 3.5 hours. Like most shows last like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. But 3.5 hours.
He is music's oldest child. He really is. He's like a child when he's on stage. He's having so much fun.
He is, and that's the thing. You can tell that he has a blast. He has so much fun while he's up there, and he hasn't lost a step, man. The way he plays is phenomenal. He was awesome. He was awesome. But
yeah, that's what you're doing while this pay-per-view was
while the
going
pay-per-view
on.
was going on. I watched it the next day. My dad actually watched it with me. And and my dad, I can't remember who was staring off. Like they're having a stare off or something, and like in the middle of the ring, they were just staring at each other, and they were getting closer. And my dad goes, kiss him.
Of course, your dad would say that.
I can't remember who it was.
Was it Big Show and Braun Strowman?
It might have been, but he's like, kiss him.
Sounds like your dad would say that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny. But
okay. The Wyatt family losing to Ryback, Kane, and Big Show
made no sense.
Can you explain that to me?
I wish I could explain it to you, but because it made no sense. Because then what? The very next night on Raw, they came back and they won. I mean,
because Bray was part of that
Bray
match.
Was part of that. Well, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, I don't understand.
And inexplicably, Ryback turned heel.
Yeah, I don't know if it was I really don't know if it was a heel turn because he didn't really. I mean, he left the match. You know, he left him high and dry. But like the promo afterwards, which I liked his promo afterwards. After that, Raw
it was a good promo. Yeah.
I liked what he had said, and you could. I felt like there was some like real emotion behind it, but it didn't really wasn't really like a defined heel turn for me. You know, it was just like, hey, I'm going off on my own. I've been part of tag teams too long. I wanna make it on my own. That's basically what it was. Yeah, but to me, it didn't feel like it wasn't like, hey, screw those guys. I'm tired of that. I'm done with those. And it was just like, hey, I want to be out on my own. And it didn't feel like a complete heel turn to me. I mean, yeah, it was a heelish thing that he did by leaving the match and walking away from it, but it didn't feel like a heel turn. But I liked the promo afterwards. I did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just like he got the victory the night before.
Yeah.
You know, like, which by the way, it was the ugliest shell shock I've ever seen. And I thought Luke Harper was injured, and thankfully he was not.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he basically leaves the team that he helped win the next night, was just really odd. I mean, granted, I'm sure he was probably hungry. He wanted to be fed some more. But still, I mean, it didn't, like, having the Wyatt family lose and then having them win the next night just made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it didn't. You're completely right. And let me talk about the shell shocks for a second. Is it me, or has the shell shock? Because he used to put the guys up like in a fisherman suplex type, you know, and then put them on his shoulders, and then now it's just, hey, I'm just gonna basically it's just a Samoan drop now. I mean, because he doesn't really do the whole fisherman suplex part anymore. It's just, hey, I'm just gonna scoop you up in a fireman's carry and fall backwards. Like it's just basically a Samoan drop now.
It's for the bigger guys that he does that, because he's not capable of holding them up that high, you know, for a long period of time. That's what the shell shock looked like on Luke Harper, because of the fact that he's so huge. Yeah. You know, I mean, compared to Ryback.
I understand that. It's just it looks completely different from when he does the fisherman style to just the fireman carry style. It looks completely different. So it's like, doesn't even look like it's the same move.
Well, especially for him though. I mean, like, thankfully it's an anomaly because WWE doesn't force people to change their finishers ever.
Yeah. Never.
Never.
Never at all.
Dirty deeds.
Curb stomp.
Yeah, curb stop. Walls of Jericho.
Well, he still does the Walls of Jericho. He still does it.
It's different though. It's not the high angle.
Well,
Boston crab.
he does do it sometimes on the smaller guys.
Yeah, but not even to AJ Styles,
But
hold on a second. I have an appliance that's calling to me.
oh, all right, an appliance. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and talk to myself. This is Archie talks about wrestling. Fools. So, how was that appliance?
Oh, it's great.
Awesome.
It's our washer and dryer. So, anyway, yeah. So I didn't get it. I didn't understand why
Yeah.
they lost. I was kind of surprised that Bray wasn't really more of a factor in the match.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were actually building Bray Wyatt to be the opponent for Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And that's evidently not going to be the case.
Right. Well, I mean, Bray Wyatt, in my opinion, he's a very reliable worker. He does a fantastic job in his programs. But I think, in my opinion, he's lost a lot of credibility. Just based on, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this, and then he loses. He doesn't do it. So how can people take him seriously? When he's delivering those promos, because he's got the promo skills. He's so good at them, and I don't like that he kind of went almost a supernatural route, with the character, especially when he was facing the Undertaker, and he kind of went the supernatural route, and I summon the thunder, I summon the lightning, blah blah, and everything like that. But when he first came up into the WWE, it was just kind of like a cultish family, just kind of, and his promos were very more soft spoken than anything. They were kind of just there's a really awesome cadence to his promos that I just loved. They were very softly spoken, that made him creepy because they were, they weren't over the top. He wasn't yelling, he wasn't screaming. It was just a very methodical cadence and just kind of like, very 60s vibe-ish. It was very, very kind of like that. And lately, I feel his promos, his voice, there's a lot more volume to it. There's more shouting and everything. And I just feel like, to me, he's gotten away from the character that I loved when he first came up. It was just, I felt like it was more simple. But now I feel like, I understand that every character's got to somehow grow and expand, and you got to try out new things. But that's just the character that I loved when he first came up, was just how he delivered his promos, just how simple they were. And now it's just like, hey, I'm going to kind of go a supernatural route now, and I'm going to do a little bit more yelling in my promos. And I'm not really feeling that part of it, that aspect of it. But, I mean, that's just me. And, other people may love what his character has become now, but I just feel also that seems like a lot of his programs with who he's worked with, he's always come out on the losing aspect of it, and it's lost a lot of credibility to me as a character, that I can't take him seriously anymore.
Well, that's also the fault of the creative team. I mean, he basically gave The Undertaker his first win back after losing for the first time at WrestleMania, and then he did a long program with Roman Reigns where he ended up losing, and then Survivor Series, I think it was, he lost to Kane and The Undertaker, but I just felt like he actually had a lot of momentum going into Fastlane, because he beat the ECW originals at TLC.
Yeah.
He got Brock Lesnar eliminated from the Royal Rumble and lasted until I think the last Final Four. I think.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, okay, he's going to get the victory here, and now Brock Lesnar wants to get revenge for him getting eliminated from the Royal Rumble, and now he's just basically, oh, well, we beat the Big Show again.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. It's like,
Again.
okay, great.
Right.
I don't understand what's going on. So I kind of feel like it's a lost opportunity, and I don't know. That's another thing I'm kind of worried about with Bray and his group is that what are they going to do going into WrestleMania?
And that's what I want to know too. And here's this, and this is my opinion as far as the group goes. But I think ever since they added Braun Strowman, the group is, I don't know. For me, it's just not as interesting. I mean,
he's getting better.
Yeah, but
he's getting better.
But here's the thing. They brought him up because mainly, Vince. He loves the big guys. Vince, and I think that's what he saw. I mean, there were rumblings that he wanted Braun Strowman versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania, which would have been an absolute disaster in my opinion. Nobody wants to see that. I'm sorry. Braun is just not an interesting enough character for people to buy into. He's just a big guy who's extremely green in the ring. He needs more time to develop. And I mean, you never really saw him in NXT. You know what he was? He was a rosebud in NXT.
Really?
Go back and look. He was a rosebud in NXT
Awesome.
for Adam Rose. That's what he was in NXT.
Way to use your talent.
And so, and it's just, he's just not an interesting character to me.
Really?
He's not.
He's a big, strong guy who's got the biggest pair of Hitler pants I've ever seen. I think he's a great character,
But he doesn't make it interesting to me because I understand that big guys have a very limited mobility and a very limited move set. Because they're big guys and they can't move as fast as the other guys can. But at least with what you do know, you have to at least make the most of it and make that look good. Right now, he can't. He can't. And the fact, and that really scared me when I heard that Vince wanted Undertaker and Braun Strowman, or I don't know if it was Vince, or I knew creative was heading that way, or there were rumblings or rumors that that's what they were heading that way. And that had me worried, because I was like, man, if the best that they can give the Undertaker is Braun Strowman, people are going to crap all over that match. And you don't want that. You don't want that for the Undertaker especially.
Well, okay. Here's the thing with him, though. I mean, he has a lot of... he's got a previous career before being in pro wrestling, where he's he's in competitions and everything like that. If they wanted him to be in a match with The Undertaker, they could basically do what they did with Brock Lesnar, saying he was the former NCAA champion, former UFC champion, former IWGP champion. And they could say all these things to really build him up. They could have done the same thing with Braun Strowman. They could have said, hey, Braun Strowman was first place in the Arnold Amateur Strongman World Championships. He was first place in the Monster of the Midland in 2010. He was first place in the Summerfest Strongman competition in 2011. I'm literally looking at his credentials right now.
But then you know what that does? That takes a crap on his character. That's what that does. That completely ruins his Wyatt family character. So they can't do that because you either then completely ditch his Wyatt family gimmick and make this be like, oh yeah, he was strong. I mean, what is he? I mean, another Mark Henry, just strong,
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I mean, no, it's not a good idea. I mean,
that's what he does.
Yes, that what, suck all the time? Oh, but
well, thankfully, as we found out the next night at Raw, that's not what they're going to do at WrestleMania.
What they're going to do, and and I guess we can talk about Raw now because we've crapped all over Fastlane enough, I guess, as it is.
Oh no, we got one more match we haven't talked about.
Oh, which one?
The 5-star classic that was Charlotte versus Brie Bella.
Of course it was. Of course it was a 5-star classic. I'll give Brie Bella this. She's improved. She has improved.
Yeah. I know she's leaving.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it was a match, and
yeah.
and let me tell you this: Charlotte has impressed me a lot with her heel turn.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's gotten a lot better, and I know. Yeah, would I like to see her get away from her father and be able to do a program on her own without him? Yes, but I think this is a good step. Maybe this was a good thing for her to kind of maybe learn from him how to be a heel, and maybe she can go on and have a great career now without him, and be a great heel without him, because that's what I would love to see, because I think that she's starting to show that she can be that she has those. I don't want to say acting chops, but I feel like that she can do it on her own now. And I feel like she's a lot more natural as a heel. It just seems to fit her, much like it did with her father. But I'm impressed with her in the way that she's got the wrestling ability. We've seen her at matches in NXT. She just hasn't been able to work with who she worked with back in NXT as well until now. She's been working with Becky and now it's Sasha.
Yeah. And before that, Paige.
Yeah, and before that,
but
Paige.
For some reason, Charlotte's matches with Paige weren't clicking for some reason.
Yeah, they weren't clicking for some reason, and they weren't the greatest. That was her first program, I think, when she came up, wasn't it?
No, Nikki.
Was that? Yeah, I guess it was Nikki, because she took the title from Nikki.
Because she was teaming with Paige.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about the match, and this is what I have to say about it. Brie has gotten better, that's for sure. But she's definitely, with all of her improvements, she's definitely proven that Nikki is the better wrestler of the twins. Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I noticed Charlotte actually slowing down so that way Brie can keep up with her, because Brie just physically could not keep up with Charlotte. Yeah. And it was kind of a shame. And then on top of it, I don't know, do you watch the match, right?
Yeah.
When she came out to her own music, she's doing the yes, yes thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, well, that's Daniel Bryan's wife and everything. And it kind of made me sad. It made me sad a little bit, because Brie has done very little to connect with the audience on her own.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly she's the one that's been left out in the cold.
Yeah.
Nikki could easily do anything on her own without Brie next to her. Mm-hmm. But Brie has to either invoke, oh yeah, my husband is Daniel Bryan. If you can't tell, I'm going to do the yes thing, I'm going to do the kick thing, or I'm going to try to do the yes lock in a very horrible fashion.
Didn't she do the running knee as well? I thought...
Yeah, she did. She did the running knee.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm kind of sad that she's leaving. At the same time, I'm she's not going to be missed. She really isn't going to be missed.
And
Nikki's absence with her neck injury is actually more of oh shoot, I kind of miss Nikki more than Brie,
And who ever thought that we'd say that?
I know, right?
But and I agree. I agree with you, especially on the using Daniel Bryan to get a reaction, because that's because from her god awful Brie mode music.
Oh God!
And then her doing the yes chants. I'm with you. I'm man. I was it's sad that she has to use that to get any sort of crowd participation or the crowd behind her. And then the same thing with the kicks, and then the yes lock and the running knee. It's like, all right, she's using all of Daniel's stuff. I mean, what? It's. I understand. Yeah, I get it. I get exactly what you're saying, and I don't. This has nothing to do with Brie as a person, because I think what she's doing, she's retiring right alongside Daniel soon anyway. And I think that's fantastic for her. Not because I'm like, oh good, she's retiring, we don't have to watch her anymore. But I think that I think that her and Daniel are great people, and but this has everything to do with her as a performer. And you would think that with Nikki gone, this would be her chance to shine, her chance to step up and improve herself. I mean, like I said, she's improved, but nothing. It was nothing. It was like that feud when her and Nikki started that feud against each other a while back. It was, you were supposed to cheer on Brie, but nobody cared. Nobody cared.
No.
And
no one wanted to cheer for Nikki.
Yeah, no one wanted to cheer for Nikki,
kind of
so it was just kind of like, I guess we'll cheer for Brie because we're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just cheer on they're on TV because their significant others are the two biggest stars. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate too. That's the other unfortunate thing, is that Brie will always be recognized as the wife of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
For someone who has been in the company since 2008, that couldn't be any more of a failure if you try.
Yeah. And Nikki has gone on and actually made a name for herself.
She sure has.
You can't look at her and be like, oh yeah, she's just dating John Cena. She's John Cena's significant other. No, I mean, you look at her being like, she's significantly, in a big way, improved in the ring. And there's actually matches of hers that I've watched and been like, that was pretty dang good, And I wish I could say that for Brie, because I really wanted her to do well. I think she's got a good look. I think Brie's got a good look. I mean, I like how she kind of, in a way, dressed a little bit different than Nikki did. I liked how she had like that flannel like around her waist and stuff like that. I really liked that. I thought she had a great look. And being the smaller of the two, she's always had like a bigger, bigger mountain to climb, because of that. But I always felt like her ability was there, but I just feel like she didn't just capitalize on what abilities she does have. And I don't know. It's a shame, because I really wanted to see her improve, because for a while she was my favorite out of the two, and I really, really wanted to see her do well. But unfortunately it just didn't happen. So for me anyway, it didn't happen.
And I don't know, just like, she's also one of the faces of Total Divas.
Yeah.
They made the show basically for her and Nikki, and it's just like, she is either going to be defined by her husband or twin sister.
Yeah. That's
it. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of, it boggles my mind that she was never able to connect with the audience the way her sister has, and it's weird. But, I'm happy that she was able to go out the way she has, and good on both of them for being able to walk away from the business when they can walk on their own 2 feet, and a lot of people can't say that.
No, a lot of people can't.
So yeah, that's all I had to say really about Fastlane, because Roman Reigns beat Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose and everything.
Yeah,
and
basically
that. And the other 5-star match was Curtis Axel versus Archie Rue. Yes.
Why?
What?
All right. Here. Why did they have that match on the main card, but yet Kalisto and Alberto Del Rio were on the kickoff show?
Because they needed a 15-minute match on the kickoff show, And apparently the segment between Edge and Christian, The New Day, and the League of Nations was so bad, they had to throw in a 2-minute match just to, get the fans to forget about it so they can get ready for the main event.
So they gave us R-Truth and Curtis Axel?
Hey, any reason to get Goldust out there, get the Golden Truth together.
Which those promos crack me up. They make me laugh, by the way.
They're cringeworthy enough to be that funny.
Yes, they are. Exactly. So, all right, moving along.
Move on to Raw. Okay, so they didn't hold anything back from the opening segment, did they?
They did not. I was sitting there and we're watching Raw with my dad because I had watched we had watched the Fastlane, and then we were right from Fastlane, and I was like, oh, Raw's going to be on in like 15 minutes. So yeah, we watched that opening segment, and I'm sitting there going, I didn't know if it was going to be part of a storyline with this Vincent J. McMahon Legacy Award, or if there was going to be part of a storyline or something. So that when Vince named Stephanie the winner of this prestigious award, I was going, okay, this has to be some sort of angle somewhere. So because this feels like an angle. It just feels like it.
Really? It felt like an angle to you?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. But and then and let me get this straight. The city of our home state, Detroit, man, that crowd was hot from the get-go. I mean, they were
just don't drink the water.
Yeah, just don't drink the water. They were a very riled up crowd, like from when the show opened. And so I was like, this is going to be a good Raw. I can feel it. And then out of nowhere, Shane McMahon's music hits. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, oh! Well, of course my dad's like, who's that?
Of course.
Who's that? And so I was just like, I was completely shocked, completely blown away. He was like the last person that I ever would have thought of that would have come out. And I don't get goosebumps very often anymore, like when I watch these shows, but when Shane McMahon's music hit and he came out, I literally had goosebumps because I was just like, I don't get surprised like that very often watching wrestling anymore. I really don't, because most of the time, if surprises are usually spoiled, usually they're ruined because it's usually out on a dirt sheet somewhere saying, hey, so and so is returning tonight, or this could be like there wasn't even like an inkling of anything. Hey, there might be a rumor that Shane McMahon's coming back. There was nothing, and so it was a complete total surprise. And he's still coming out doing that weird thing with his hand, with that little fist, and doing that little shuffling of his feet. I was like, that is Shane. So, but I mean, what did you think? I mean, because I messaged you, and you didn't take me seriously at first when I messaged you.
I thought you were messing with me because I've been doing that to you with the Great Khali. Anytime you can't watch anything live, so I figured that you were messing with me. But yeah, I mean, when I watched it, I was like, "Are they really doing this and everything?" And hey, like you, I wasn't expecting it. I thought he was still in China doing his business dealings that he's been doing since he left in 2010. Was it 2011?
He's been gone for like 6 or 7 years. It was he's been gone for a long time.
Yeah, it wasn't long after the the Vince McMahon versus God angle,
which was awful. Good Lord.
So offensive and sacrilegious, but still kind of funny.
In a way, kind of funny.
That they went there, that he thought for a second that was a good idea. Anyway, so, he hasn't really lost a step. He's not as charismatic as Stephanie,
yeah,
but he definitely carries weight to him that a lot of people just don't.
Yeah.
You know, like it's funny because when Batista came back, people didn't give a crap. Yet he was a big star.
Yeah.
The second that you see Shane McMahon, for some reason, he carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my God, something is going to go down.
Yeah.
We are so happy to see him back. And they had said, oh, we have a plan for the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and he's not even a part of the roster.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, is it Nakamura?
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation. It's like Nakamura. I mean, could it be Angle? You know, could it be somebody that's, you know, not on the I think he's with TNA still, but I mean, just you start throwing out like just names that you could think of, like, okay, who's not on the roster? I mean, does that mean NXT roster as well, or does that mean what does it mean? And then Shane comes in, and that was still the last person I was thinking of for a match with the Undertaker at WrestleMania still. But at first I was, when Vince had said that's, you know, his opponent and it's going to be in Hell in a Cell, my first thought was, really? You know, and it took me a second to really kind of think about it and just be like, actually, you know what? Remembering Shane as a performer, that this could potentially be, he's not an actual real wrestler. That's the thing. But every match that he has been on, it seems like, has stolen the show. Like, he just has a way of, and you know that something crazy is going to happen. You know that he's going to do something crazy at WrestleMania, some sort of crazy bump, even at 46 years old. He's just that crazy enough that he's going to take some weird, crazy bump. And I'm excited for it, man. I really am. The only thing is how is Vince going to convince The Undertaker to fight for him? You know, that's a weird thing. That's my only question, is how are they going to make this work up until WrestleMania? I mean, I know that they've got Undertaker scheduled, I think, for next week's Raw. I think. Yep, he's going to be in next week's Raw. So, so I guess we're going to find out why he's going to do it, or will accept it, or whatever. But I'm interested to see what the reasoning, how they're going to, excuse me, how they're going to make it work. So, sorry. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, actually. It seemed kind of weird. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to it. The thing that kind of bothers me, though, is that from what we've seen from Shane, he is going to do something crazy. Yeah. He's going to do something absolutely nuts. And I'm going to have a harder time watching it because he's 46 years old and because he's got 3 boys. And it's just like, you know, just like, is it really necessary? You know? But you know he's going to do it.
Yep.
You know, he's the most athletic McMahon. Surprisingly enough, there is that kind of gene so weird
there. That you've got Vince, who doesn't know how to take a bump or even a punch or anything. He's the most uncoordinated guy ever.
Well, okay, when he took the leg drop from Hogan, he looked pretty good, you know?
Well, he just had to lay there. Here's a guy that can't climb into a ring without blowing out both his knees. I mean,
or when he first took a stunner, he fell on Stone Cold.
Yeah, he fell on Stone Cold and then like flipped over him. I mean, it's just but then you got Shane. Well, Stephanie can even take. She's taking stunners. She's taking RKOs. She can even take a bump like that. She knows how to do it. It's just so weird that those two know.
She can take a pedigree.
It's so weird that those two know how to do it, and he can't. Hasn't Linda taken a stunner before?
I don't remember. I don't think she has. I think that's actually been a rule.
No,
that Linda's not going to be positioned. Yeah, like she'll probably get like roughed up by family, but not by a wrestler. I think that's been the case.
I thought that Linda has gotten. I don't know why I've thought that she's taken a stunner before. I can't remember why I think that, but
Or maybe she's taking a tombstone. I'm not sure. Or 3D.
I think there's probably like only 2 guys on the roster that could get away with doing anything, and I think it was probably Stone Cold at the time and probably The Undertaker. Those are the only 2 that I think Vince would allow back in the day have anything to do with Linda taking a finisher. But yeah, that match is going to be it has a potential to steal the show, and I think it will. But one thing that I really liked that they didn't shy away from, and I don't know if it was Vince's idea or Shane's idea, that Shane actually brought out into light and actually mentioned all of WWE's actual like problems, like stuff that they're actually having real life issues with, and that's like their stocks, the network subscribers, all that stuff, all that stuff that is down, and they're actually having real life issues with that they actually hey, we're just gonna go ahead and air all those issues out on the on live TV, so
and attributing it to Stephanie and Triple H, and that's pretty interesting,
yeah.
And it makes you wonder what Vince said that they bleeped out.
What he bleeped out was because he was talking about facing the Undertaker, and then I believe what he said, there's a video going around, and it said you're gonna take an effing beating, is what he says.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So apparently they bleeped that out because you could hear people in the crowd saying that's not PG or something. There.
Well, that with the opening segment and then the ending segment, it wasn't also PG. It was kind of weird how.
Yeah.
It started and ended with non-PG moments.
Yeah. Exactly, because
Hunter attacks Roman Reigns after he has a match with Sheamus again.
Yeah, for the 50,000th time.
Did he blade or was it a blood capsule?
I think it was a capsule. From what I
still not PG.
Yeah, still not PG. But I don't think it was a blade from what I've read. That it was a capsule, but who knows? Could have been either or. Either way, it doesn't matter. You're right, not PG. And from what I've read, that they're looking to have a more edgier show from now up until WrestleMania. From what I'm hearing,
they may need to do that.
Yeah,
they may need to do that.
And that's what I'm saying. Having an edgier, because honestly, that beating that Triple H gave Reigns, that got me interested. Because I was like, you know what? Good. Have Reigns take a beating. Have him take a beating from Triple H. It's basically Triple H's payback from what he did back in, what was it, Survivor Series?
TLC.
Or TLC. TLC. Yeah, it's basically what payback for what he did at TLC, and I think Reigns, even as a character, needed that.
I agree.
And so, because they were doing such great things with him at TLC. They had him do that. The crowd was behind him when he won the title on Raw the next night, and then, but then I think they started putting him back on the mic again, and then somehow people started getting tired of him again, and so it's like,
well, he needed to talk. Believe that.
Which is a stupid catchphrase. He needs something different. This is what he needs to do. He needs a little bit of a character overhaul still. I still think that he could be something special. But I think that, what are you laughing at?
You said something like something
dark.
But
But he needs something that's more complete. He needs. I think he needs to ditch that stupid vest that he wears. And I think he needs new theme music. I really do, because essentially he still looks like he's a one-man shield. Basically, Dean Ambrose, obviously they're like, okay, Reigns is the guy that we want to push, so we're just gonna let him kind of keep that Shield attire, and we're gonna let him keep the Shield music. And then the other two, obviously got a complete overhaul as far as even character, what they wear, theme music, everything got an overhaul. I think Reigns really needs that overhaul as far as, give him new theme music, give him new attire. Something, because all people are going to do is look at that and be like, he's still using that Shield stuff, from 2 years ago. I think he needs a little bit of an overhaul for that. I think that would do a lot to kind of freshen up his character a little bit. Like even stuff like that, even a visual change and an audio change could maybe sway fans. That stuff does a lot for a character, and I think it could do something really good for him. But I'm just a fan, so I don't write for the show or anything. But
I think the Superman punch needs to be tweaked a little bit too. It's a very flashy move.
Yeah.
But
he does it so much.
He does it so much. I think he needs to change it up and do like a heart punch. And,
oh, no heart punch. No, I think it's. But this is the thing. He uses that Superman punch so much. A lot. He's starting to be. He's got the ability, But. The thing is like I feel like when I watch a Roman Reigns match, it's let's do it's a Samoan drop, a Superman punch, a drive by, and a spear. I feel like that's all we get, and a bunch of punches. And that's
Well, you can't forget the punches.
Yeah, and on all those punches, it's like all right, what am I watching? A Rock match?
Or Cena match.
The thing is that Cena and The Rock had where they had charisma. They could get away with using such, limited moveset, was because they were charismatic. They told a story, and Reigns I think he's still learning that. I think he's still learning to tell a story part in his matches. But I thought his match last year against Brock Lesnar against WrestleMania was fantastic.
That was compelling.
I thought it was a great compelling. They told a great story, and I thought it was fantastic, but I don't know what it is about him now that I don't know. It's just there's still some. I want him to succeed so bad, but I just feel like I don't know if it's the way he's booked, or what, but something needs to change for him.
It's funny how. A span of a year hasn't really changed our minds.
I know, a span of a year hasn't really changed our minds.
I swear that we were saying the same thing last year when we were having our podcast leading up to WrestleMania.
Yeah. And sadly, I think it's just the way he's booked. And I think that 99.9% of that, the problem is the way he's booked. And if there were just certain slight changes here and there about him and his character and how he's booked, I think he'd be fine. He's somebody that doesn't need to have mic skills. He's just somebody that needs to just, give beat downs and either have, a spokesperson, or just not talk at all, or talk very limited. But that's just me. It's my opinion. But.
Well, I don't think there's anything really wrong with the way he's booked either, because, think about all last year. Besides wrestling Daniel Bryan, he basically was the face in almost every program he was in. He was in a program with Seth Rollins, and then Bray Wyatt, and then Seth Rollins again until he got injured, and then Sheamus, and now Triple H. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way he's booked. I think there's just some missing pieces, really.
Right.
He's been rightfully in the places where he needs to be. He's been wrestling the people that he needs to wrestle. Yeah. If anyone's a victim of how they're booked, it's more Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
But that's all being fixed too by who he's facing at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm very compelled about that match, about Dean and Brock. I think
that's a left field situation for me.
It's a left field situation?
Yeah, I did not expect that to happen.
Right.
I'm glad it's happening, but I didn't expect it to happen.
Yeah, I wasn't I wasn't expecting that to happen either, but because I mean, we thought that Brock was going to start getting into a program with the Wyatt family, and that didn't happen. But I like the way they're booking Dean against Brock. I like the way that they're having just Dean Ambrose just basically just coming back for beating after beating after beating and still keep coming back for it. That just really plays to Ambrose's character and what he's all about. And it makes you wonder. I mean, I think Lesnar will have to go over at WrestleMania.
That's okay.
Which is fine. Yeah, which is fine. Because I still think that they're booking Dean very strongly, even though he's taken just whooping after whooping from Lesnar. But I'm very intrigued about this match and exactly how it's going to go and what they're going to do with it. So.
Yeah, and that, fans, is so far what we got for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's basically it. We've basically got those two feuds.
We'll expect 3. Shane, Undertaker.
Yeah, Shane, Undertaker, that's right.
And then Roman, Triple H.
And then obviously the Diva stuff is still playing out. Are we going to get Charlotte versus Sasha? Are we going to get Charlotte versus Becky Lynch? Or are we going to get a triple threat? So it's.
I'm hoping for a triple threat because the 3 of them, really will play into each other's strengths. I think the 3 of them will have their work cut out for them because Bayley 2 days prior to Mania will probably be facing Asuka.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna have to try to prove something because Bayley's showing them all up.
Right, I know.
Really.
Bayley's in a league of her own, so it's.
And she's on NXT,
yeah,
so it's like
exactly. And then we've got, and then we got to wonder what are they going to have for Kevin Owens for the IC title?
We're gonna have for Kevin.
I'm hoping
we're gonna have with the New Day.
Yeah, what are we gonna have with the New Day? I'm hoping with the IC title, Kevin Owens. I'm hoping for AJ Styles. I'm thinking those two could put in a fantastic match.
That would be pretty awesome, actually. If not Kevin Owens for AJ, I would love to see AJ face Adrian Neville.
That would be a fantastic match as well.
For Kevin Owens, if not AJ, I would like to see probably Great Khali.
Good Lord. Man, we can't get through one podcast without...
Hey, by my count, it's an hour and 2 minutes. I waited an hour and 2 minutes for mentioning him in a fantasy booking situation.
Turd.
We haven't had a podcast since Christmas, or before Christmas. So you want to tell our fans what I got you for Christmas?
Oh man, well you've already made me during some of my game streams. You already made me show people, but I can. There's a few things that Rue had got me for Christmas. He had got me a trading card. Great Khali. I believe it's Tops, isn't it? Was it Tops?
I don't know.
I think it's Tops. It's sitting over there. But trading card. Great Khali trading cards. It's actually encased. So I get to show it off to everybody that comes in. So
with the stand.
With the stand. Yes, with the stand as well. And I also got a nice Great Khali big photo, big Great Khali photo, which is fantastic. So I can actually, if I want to, I can put that in a frame and hang it and showcase my love/disdain for the Great Khali. So that
a friend of mine at work has been laughing basically at the situation. He's like, "You're gonna keep giving him Great Khali memorabilia, anything you can find." I'm like, "Of course I am." And he's like, "Probably if you outlive him, and you have to, if you have to bury Archie, you'll probably slip one last thing in his casket before he gets buried."
I'm gonna be cremated, Rue. I'm gonna be cremated. Screw that. I'm gonna be cremated just for the fact that you can't slip. That or you know what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down to whoever is going to burn my body into ashes. What you're going to do is you're going to slip this guy like a Great Khali poster and be like, hey, can you burn this along with the body? that way,
it means a lot to him.
That way the Great Khali is always in my urn with me. I can see you doing that.
You are his biggest fan. I want you to have the stuff so you can actually prove that you're his biggest fan. And I know it's important to you.
Extremely important. I'm so ecstatic that you that you would do that for me.
Well, I think that covers it. Did you watch NXT at all?
I have not watched NXT from last night at all, so I will have to do that before I go to sleep tonight, and that way I can discuss it with you tomorrow. But
all right. Well, I will say this: Eva Marie surprised me because she actually looked like she is taking what she has learned and applying it when she's in the ring.
And I saw that you tweeted her, and I saw that she liked that tweet, and I'm sitting here going, and I'm at work tonight, and I'm sitting here, and I see that, and I was like, oh, good Lord, he tweeted Eva Marie, and she liked it. Rue, you are gonna make us the heels of the Twitterverse. Nobody is going to like us. All of our followers that are wrestling fans are going to unfollow because. Not only did you tweet to her that you enjoyed her match, but she liked it. So...
Hey, for someone who clearly knows that she's not the favorite in NXT, for someone who is trying to embrace it and being told that she can't wrestle, she actually is putting in hard work, and it showed last night. I think it's proper to at least give her the credit that, hey, your hard work is paying off, it's being seen. Please do more of that hard work so you don't suck as much.
I agree with you. And like I said, I just like to give you a hard time because
hey, I am insane with Twitter. I don't know why.
He is very much insane with Twitter. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, you should. It is at AppenRoid. So make sure I'm going to shamelessly plug our Twitter account there. So
right on.
So go ahead, and also this podcast will be up on our YouTube channel. So you're actually, if you're listening to this, you're already on our YouTube channel, which is AppenRoid, as well as our Twitch. If you like gaming, you can follow us on Twitch. It's at AppenRoid as well. So it's very easy. AppenRoid for everything, basically. Mm-hmm. So if you like gaming too, follow us on Twitch as well. We do some streaming on there with certain games, a little bit of everything. Lots of scary ones though, but because that's apparently what everybody likes to watch me play. So,
well, to get Archie to scream, so we're good.
Shut your
all right,
mouth.
I think that's going to do it for our podcast. Yeah. So you have been listening to AppenRoid Talks About Wrestling, which we did not mention at all the beginning of this
exactly
this podcast. I am your host. I am Rue, and with me, as always, is my best friend.
This has been Archie. I've had a blast. It's been a great time, and we will see you on the next episode. Yes, and I did say that over the list.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Don't ask.
On the episode. Nice little dusty roads there.
Thank you very much. But yes, see you later.
All right. Bye.